the cousins had known, well, they had all known that I was related to them, and when they watched the Virginian in the beginning, and they were thrilled about the fact that I was a relative, and they thrilled with the show and all that. And they said to me that they never, ever thought I'd come to Ireland. They waited all these years, and I finally came. And, of course, it was because Eamon Finnerty is such a good friend and offered to take us and sponsor our trip that we could go. And Eamon said, at the end of the thing, he said, "I've had more fun than anybody." And he just really enjoyed it. He was with us almost every minute of every day, and he got such a kick out of these people. He was just laughing and roaring all the time. So it was great, and he was so kind to send us over, and he and his wife June, and take care of all our expenses. I mean, we couldn't buy a cup of coffee in Ireland. They just everybody took care of everything. You know, we were taken care of, believe me. And that limousine he had over there, a long stretch Lincoln limousine, that he was instrumental in sending that over to those guys, and they started a business with it. The O'Neill brothers, and our driver Cyril O'Neill was a wonderful gentleman and took us everywhere at 90 miles an hour. But he's an extremely, extremely good driver, and just no problems anywhere, and got us where we had to go on time. So thank God for him, and we got around Ireland, but you couldn't see anything very much through those tinted windows, and if you rolled down the window and tried to take a picture, by the time you got your camera ready, whatever you were looking at was gone. You know, there were ruins and stone walls and all kinds of things I wanted to take a picture of, and forget about it. The subject was out of sight by the time we got our camera ready.
Oh, dear.
But we did go to I didn't mention that we had, I really enjoyed going to the cemetery near the homestead. The day we went over to the homestead, they took Vincent led us up to the cemetery, and I got to see my great uncle Tom's grave. That was my father's brother, who was the father of Vincent and Anne and Claire and Madeline, all the four kids, four cousins that were down there. And Anne was the little one, you know, the short girl in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
The picture you sent on the front of the book that you sent me.
Right.
She's on the far left side there, in line with all the other three of us. But the picture got cropped. She got cropped out of the picture. But she's the short one. She's the one with Vincent who owns the farm. So, and they were all just charming as can be. Claire and Madeline live in Dublin, and they came down for the week and spent all the time there, and then they were over to see us again in the evenings and at the hotel when we went back to the hotel. Then I think, I can't remember now when the little Irish girls danced, but it was Thursday night. Three of the daughters of Paul Hanley, who owns the hotel, and by the way, he's got 7 daughters and 6 daughters. I'm getting a straight scoop from Carl-Ann over my shoulder. But he has 6 daughters, and I think 5 of them work there in the hotel. And they are all just beautiful girls. I mean, absolutely knockouts. And they are so competent and so efficient and do things so fast and beautifully. I mean, you order breakfast and 30 seconds later it's there. And we're on the 3rd floor, you know. So, and they absolutely run upstairs balancing teapots and coffee pots and stuff and never spill a drop. They are just incredibly efficient and took great care of us. Anyway, 3 of them, I think 2 of them were his daughters and 1 was a friend, did an Irish dance for us, you know, a la river dance, where they do the tap dancing, the Irish tap dancing, and they were just wonderful. Gosh, they just absolutely thrill you, and they're like whirling dervishes. Their feet move so fast, you can't even hardly believe that they're tapping that often. I don't know how many taps they have to a minute, but it's in the hundreds, you know. And they just really enthralled us, and we did get some pictures of that. that I don't know how good they are or how transferable they are. We'll see. But anyway, let's get back on track. We went on a tour Monday, and I went back to Ashford Castle and had a wonderful lunch up there. Had a little restaurant that overlooks the castle, not in the castle but outside. But it was beautiful view of the golf course and the lake and the castle. It was just idyllic. And again, we had smoked salmon when that's close to the place that they smoked the salmon there in Connemara. And then came back and did a tour of several saloons, I think. There were people that I hadn't seen that Eamon wanted to say hello to, and we did that. And then it crashed, and Tuesday we had to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to leave at 5 to get to the airport at 7 to take a 9 o'clock flight, you know. So that's how that situation worked. And we got our flight at Shannon in good time, and everything was fine. We had bulkhead seats, and we flew across, and got to Newark, and then started going through the absolute nightmare of the Newark Homeland Security. They treat everybody very badly, and I have nothing good to say about them. And I really shouldn't say anything bad about anybody, so I'm not going to say anything. But if I never see the Newark airport again, it'll be way too soon. We had a 10.5-hour layover there. It was supposed to be a 5-hour layover, and then their plane was no good. There was something mechanically wrong, so they took that airplane out and replaced it, and then had to cater it and clean it and fuel it, and all of that takes hours. And we finally got in the air and got home to got back to Houston. But it was the back end of the trip, because of the airports and the air flight, was very uncomfortable and very, very maddening, and just it drove me up the wall. And I'm sorry that it affects me that way, but that's why I quit flying in '98, because I didn't want to put up with the security and with having to stay in the airport, and quite frankly with not being able to smoke in the airport. And once you get in the Newark airport, it's such a difficult thing to get in there to begin with. You don't want to go out and smoke because you have to go through the same crap again coming back in. So I just stayed there for 10.5 hours and listened to those people tell me not to let anybody pick my bags up. And that, my dear, will drive you crazy if you listen to it often enough. I got to the point where I had to cover my ears and jam my heels of my hands into my ears so I wouldn't hear that announcement again, or I thought I would go crazy. But anyway, I didn't, and I'm still sane, or as sane as I ever was. And that's an object for debate anyway. But I feel much relaxed. I finally got out of the airports, and I'm home. We're trying to figure out a way to go back to Ireland by ship.